You know, something absolutely unprecedented is happening in the space right above our heads. It's a new kind of gold rush, a race in the final frontier, and it all comes down to one truly mind-boggling number.
Okay, so this number, 200,000, it's not just some random figure I pulled out of a hat. This number is at the very heart of a story that's sending massive shockwaves through the entire global space community.
Yup, you heard that right. In a single week, plans were filed for nearly 200,000 new satellites. Now, to put that into perspective for you, that is almost 20 times the number of active satellites that are currently orbiting our planet right now. A move like this signals a brand new, incredibly intense phase in the global competition for space. So, what's the big deal? I mean, what does a filing this massive actually mean? Well, it's way more than just an ambition. It's a huge strategic claim on the future of low Earth orbit. And it has absolutely everyone asking, okay, what happens next? All right, to really get our heads around this 200,000 number, we've got to take a step back and ask, why this specific spot? Why is everybody suddenly in such a mad dash to claim a piece of low Earth orbit? It's become some of the most valuable real estate out of this world. So let's break it down. What exactly is LEO? Well, think of it as the orbital neighborhood that's closest to us here on Earth. For these giant networks of satellites, these mega constellations like Starlink, we're talking about that sweet spot around 550 kilometers up. And that proximity, that closeness, that's the secret sauce to everything. You see, for decades, satellite internet was, well, kind of clunky. It came from these huge satellites way, way out there, more than 35,000 kilometers away. And that massive distance created a ton of lag, or latency. But LEO constellations, they're about 65 times closer, which just obliterates that lag time. This is what makes real high-speed internet possible anywhere on the planet. The only catch is, you need thousands of them working together. And make no mistake, this is not just some commercial company trying to make a buck. It's a major declaration of national strategy. As Ding Botao here puts it, this is a crystal clear signal of China's resolve and capability. They're showing the world they are all in on a massive, systematic deployment. So you start to see why this is such a huge deal. It's a race happening on multiple levels. On one hand, it's an economic gold rush. You've got Starlink projecting revenues in the tens of billions. It's also a straight-up land grab for the limited orbital slots and radio frequencies. And critically, it's about national capability, having a tough, resilient communications network for everything from remote villages to the military. Okay, so who exactly is behind this incredible 200,000 satellite plan? It's not just one company. It's a whole coordinated push. We're talking a mix of state-backed giants, big telecom operators, and private space companies. But when you actually see the breakdown, one name just absolutely leaps off the page. Yeah, just look at that, RSDTII. This one single entity, with its two proposed constellations, accounts for over 95% of the total number of satellites here. It completely dwarfs even major players like China Mobile. It's not even close. Okay, but here's where it gets really wild. This group, RSDTI, it didn't even exist a month before this filing happened. It was literally formed just 2 weeks before dropping this bombshell plan. Now, what does that tell you? It suggests an incredibly coordinated, top-down national strategy that is moving at absolute lightning speed. And just to really hammer home how enormous this is, you have to realize this 200,000 number isn't their starting point. It's being added on top of plans that were already massive, like Guowang and Shanfan, which together were already aiming for close to 30,000 satellites. So we're not just talking about an increase here. This is an exponential, mind-blowing escalation. So this all brings up a pretty obvious question, right? Is this even for real? Can you just file for 200,000 satellites and that's it? Let's dig into whether this is a concrete plan or maybe more of a strategic chess move, what some people are calling a paper constellation. Okay, let's just cut right to the chase. Are we actually going to see 200,000 new Chinese satellites filling up the sky? Well, the answer to that really comes down to the rules set by one very key international organization. And that organization is the ITU. It's the UN agency that basically acts as the world's air traffic controller for space. They're the ones who allocate the orbital slots and the radio frequencies. And here's the crucial part. They operate on a first-come, first-served basis, which is exactly why everyone is in such a hurry to submit their plans. But here's the catch. Filing is just step one. The ITU has these really strict use it or lose it rules. A clock starts ticking. You have to launch 10% of your satellites within 9 years, half of them within 12 years, and the whole shebang has to be up there within 14. If you miss those deadlines, poof, you lose your rights to that orbital real estate.
So what's the big takeaway here? Well, it's pretty unlikely that all 200,000 of these satellites are actually going to get launched. But honestly, that's not really the point. This filing is a massive strategic move. It's about securing what one expert called regulatory room for future growth. It stakes a claim and reserves the option for a truly enormous network, even if the final number ends up being a lot smaller.
Now, this massive boom in satellite filings, and it's not just from China, it's from players all over the world, it creates a new and really urgent problem for every single one of us. Our sky is getting crowded, dangerously crowded. Just look at the growth. I mean, it's insane. A decade ago, there were fewer than 1,000 active satellites orbiting Earth. Today, there are over 11,000, and more than half of those are from SpaceX alone. And the total number proposed to the ITU? Over 1 million. This isn't just growth, it's a straight-up explosion. And this is what that crowding looks like right now. This is a visualization from the European Space Agency, showing the cloud of active satellites and junk that is encircling our planet as we speak. Now, remember, this is just a tiny fraction of what's been proposed. Try to imagine this, but multiplied 100-fold. And the impact is not some far-off theoretical problem. This is a real image from an observatory. See those bright white streaks? Those are satellites, basically photobombing our view of the universe and completely ruining the astronomical data. This is a direct consequence of a crowded LEO, and it's happening every single night. And the challenges here are profound. Every new satellite dramatically increases the risk of collisions, which could create these cascading clouds of deadly debris that make entire orbits unusable. They create light and radio pollution, blinding our telescopes. When they burn up coming back to Earth, they're polluting our upper atmosphere with metals in ways we don't fully understand yet. And maybe the scariest part, they could blind us to a dangerous asteroid on a collision course with Earth. You know, this quote from Chris Johnson really nails the problem. It's one thing for a single company like SpaceX to manage its own fleet, but the real challenge, as he says, is what happens when you have multiple competing mega constellations from different nations all trying to navigate the same crowded orbital highways. It's a traffic jam waiting to happen. Which leaves us with this final, really critical question. The sky above us is supposed to be a shared global resource for all of humanity, but right now, it's being carved up faster than ever before. With plans for over 1 million satellites in the pipeline, the real race isn't just about launching them. It's about who gets to write the rules for the sky itself.